In today's Gospel reading, we hear of the importance Jesus places upon welcoming one another, so much so that Jesus himself wishes to be remembered in the welcome we give. In fact, Jesus says to his disciples, "Whoever welcomes you, welcomes me." So I thought about how I welcome folk, and whether the manner in which I welcome folk reflects my Christian faith. And I have to admit, when I really stop to think about it, I probably don't offer more than a reserved, welcoming smile and a few words of polite greeting. If I'm welcoming someone into my home, I generally start by offering a cup of tea. Offering traditional hospitality is my go-to method of greeting, and I really don't know what to do if I have a guest who doesn't want a cup of tea. And if, heaven forbid, I run out of tea or cake, what am I to do? Should I hide behind the sofa? Now, less reserved people welcome one another with a kiss, and this is a very nice thing to do. However, I very rarely kiss, and when I do, I invariably get it wrong, and we bump heads, or I end up with a beard burn, or worse still, a sloppy, wet kiss. So no, polite air kissing is not for me, which is quite worrying, as the Apostle Paul exhorts us to greet one another with a holy kiss. And he doesn't just do it in one place, but two. For it's found in 2 Corinthians 13:12 and Romans 16:16. So St. Paul would clearly find me a bit stuffy and standoffish. So I decided to have a little look around to find out how folks from different cultures greet one another. This is what I found. Italian, French and Spanish-speaking countries like to welcome one another with an air kiss. But it gets complicated because not everyone kisses everyone, and sometimes people only air kiss folk they're in a relationship with. And depending where you are and who you're welcoming, it may be 1, 2, 3 or 4 air kisses. So, as it's so complicated, I decided this method of greeting definitely wasn't and isn't for me. Now, history doesn't record what St. Paul meant by a holy kiss, but I kind of think that living in the Roman world, he would be familiar with air kissing. But as we're living in the midst of a pandemic, the notion of greeting one another in such a way is a non-starter. So I decided to look a little further to see how other faith groups welcome one another, and I came across this little known Tibetan greeting, which started by Buddhist monks and is used as a greeting and sign of respect, and it involves sticking out your tongue. There again, though, I thought this might cause some consternation with face masks and everything, and so decided that this might not be a good option either. So then I thought about New Zealand and the haka, but being in a wheelchair, I kind of thought it would be somewhat difficult, especially as they might expect me to play rugby after it. So I thought that option too was best avoided. So then I looked back at the Gospels and found that whenever Jesus greeted someone, he did so in peace. Peace is the hallmark of Christ's welcome, and whenever we come into his presence, peace is the lasting result. Jesus has the capacity to bring peace into the most troubled of situations. He calms the storm. He heals the sick. He brings justice to the downtrodden. In short, the peace of our Lord Jesus Christ transforms lives. And so I urge you to welcome him into your heart today and then greet one another in peace. Amen.